I'm Jonathan Garcia. I'm here to show you the new Phoenix 406 electric recumbent bike. And I wanted to share a little bit about the history of it and also the features of it. But this is, we think, the very first electric recumbent that's designed from the ground up. And how this differs from a kit, I'll show you when we come a little closer. But basically, we started with the Phoenix 700, which is here. This was conceived of 3 years ago, and even during that period of time, we were talking about a 406 version because we knew that was going to be an important part of the market. The 406 version kind of morphed into this electric as electric became more popular. And so the very first offering is going to be an electric version, and then we hope to have an acoustic version after. So let's go over a couple things here. So the Phoenix, long wheelbase bike, fairly low bottom bracket. We really worked on the ergonomics of it. This is a standard size. This is a production sample, and it's a standard size. So this will fit from a 35X seam to about a 44.5. So it has a wide range. We hope to have two models, and the larger model will fit someone up to about 6'4", I'm guessing, but basically it's about 4 inches longer than this one. The main thing I want everyone to see is ergonomically is that it's made to have a very powerful pedaling position over the top, but also have this wonderful handlebar position that is low. My shoulders are relaxed. It also has almost zero tiller. Now in the 700C version, it's going to have a little tiller just because of the wheel size. But on this one, we were able to lower that. You can see how low the bars are, but I still have clearance. I'm not quite at the top of the stroke, but this is excellent clearance on a short wheelbase for turning ability. Also a wide range of adjustment with the RAN style seat. We have the adjustments here in the angle, and then we have the quick adjust, of course, down here, which is a V clamp. So all that adds up to a very upright position, relaxed. I can easily see over the fairing, so it's not up in my face. But I think that's going to work for a lot of people, especially in the standard. It's going to work for the smaller people that have had trouble fitting a recumbent. One thing I want to point out too is we really worked on the front end design. The head angle and fork is made so that there's absolute control over any kind of condition. This is not a bike that slides out in the front like a lot of long wheelbase do. The other thing is, unlike a Tour Easy, this has actually a higher bottom bracket, even though the relationship is similar in the seat to the crank height. This bottom bracket is high enough that you can go around any corner and you're never going to hit the pedals. And these are 170 cranks on that. Now let's talk about particular features. On this bike, the production version will have an 11-speed like this does. It will also have, in production, a through axle. This is the sample, which has just a regular quick release. We're hoping for a front through axle in the fork, and those are really the main production changes from this particular bike. There'll be places for 4 water bottles. You can see the eyelets here. We always put those on the Phoenix 700, but that's the energy bar. It allows 2 water bottle mounts there, and then of course 2 behind the seat here. So you have the ability to carry 4 bottles. Of course, it'll take a rack. It already has rack mounts. It'll take a fender. That's a fender eyelet right there. It's designed for a double kickstand, which makes it very stable. You can actually even raise it up higher than that if you want. It's easy to change a flat even on the road. The other differences, or the other things to point out, are this. Someone asked about this online. So this allows access to the inside internal routing. You'll notice there's a difference between this and the 700 one in the background, and that's kind of a cleaner, sweeter setup, but that won't allow internal routing that has this long cable run. So you'll see right here, this is the cable coming out for the speed sensor here, and then the cable right here, which is the rear brake cable, comes out of the frame there. That's probably never been done on a long wheelbase either. Now I want to show up front where this comes in, so you can see all the cables going inside, and of course they travel down inside this tube. The other advantage here is, especially with these long wheelbase bikes in general, but on the Phoenix specifically, we also worked very hard to have only one idler, and this is a return idler. And there are some Phoenix 700 riders that don't run idler at all. I like the idler just in case you hit some of the bumps. This chain doesn't come bouncing up and get caught up on anything. But as far as resistance, there's almost zero there, which is great. You don't always have that. The other thing that we really had to analyze, and what we wanted, one of the design criteria was to have the battery and the motor very close together to give a low center of gravity. That's the advantage that this bike has over anything or any type of kit you can put on. And we kind of found this out putting motors on the 700 Phoenix, the kit motors on those. And we also know from installing on Toureasies that when the battery's over here, the weight puts too much weight over the wheel, and then you have to contend with that. It doesn't have the same predictable handling. So this has the weight and the mass down low, and it works excellent. It also makes it very easy to pedal with the motor off. So this has the ability to ride without the motor. People always ask that. The other thing is, this was a extra fairing we had here. We're experimenting to see what will work, and hopefully we'll have eyelets. We do have a system for the top. They're called antlers, but they weren't ready for production yet. So this has an old school easy racer setup. And down below, we're hoping to have eyelets for the lower mount. Now, one of the things that we learned about the Phoenix 700 was it does best with the short fairing because you can't cover the cranks. With this bike, you can physically cover the cranks down below, so it makes sense to have a full fairing. And it, of course, gives it the protection, a little more aerodynamics. Now, the motor itself, I'd like to address if we come around here. So it's a Bafang M400 motor. It's a 36 volt. It is 350 watts, and this is a true pedal assist. It's torque activated, so the harder you pedal, the more power it gives you. You can control a level up here on the display, and the controls are right here. But that combination gives you almost seamless operation. So this allows you, I'm just turning it on here so you guys can see, but you have a plus and minus. This right here indicates the level of assist, and I'm just increasing the level, and you can do that while you're riding. And we're guessing with a fairing, you're probably going to get 40 to 45, maybe 50 miles out of it. It's a 14 amp battery, so it is fairly large. We had to do a little bit of work with the design to fit the battery clearance here, and this may be refined a little to give us a little bit more, but this is also a side entry battery, which it goes off the side of the chain, but that's not a big deal taking it in or out. So that's the Phoenix 406, just kind of a rough overview.
New age bike works, yeah.